All right, so Tulip Chowdhury, thank you for joining me tonight. And I'm going to read the short bio that you sent me. Tulip Chowdhury is a longtime educator and writer. She has authored multiple books, including Invisible, and Beyond, and Soul Inside Out, and a collection of poetry, Red, Blue, and Purple. The books are available on Amazon, Kindle, and Barnes& and Noble. Tulip currently resides in Massachusetts, USA. Massachusetts, USA. All right, and so if you could please just say your name and then the title of the poem, and then go ahead and read the poem you have prepared.
Yeah, so hi, Todd, and thank you so much for this spot and the interview. I'm much honored. And poetry comes to me like a breath of fresh air. And often I find myself in the morning, uh, the journaling may be just a poem. So I'd like to read the one I wrote today. It's the month of December, and I was thinking of it. December. December ends the calendar year, pages turn, January comes. Then February, March, and so comes spring. Like December, death comes in with an ending, another chapter into oblivion. While the loved ones leave behind, just like another year, we are yet done. The pulse of life is like a circle from the birth to the end. We die, our soul lives on with the nature. We come again and again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, actually. Thanks so much for reading that. And so the questions I sent you are very general, so feel free to answer them exactly as you want to. The first question being, why do you write poetry?
So I grew up as a child. I in Bangladesh in a very lush green village, and I was surrounded by nature, and I appreciated. I loved it. So my grandmother actually is the person who taught me to do this self-expression with the form of poem. And my grandfather also rhymes all the time. He expressed his thoughts to me. So I grew up with poetry. I have family members who are also writers. So I guess it just came to me.
Funny enough, I have a friend. He's an old friend. I haven't seen him in a long time. His last name is Chowdhury. He's actually also from Bangladesh. And I
Really?
just kind of thought about that. Yeah, I met him when I was back in 1996. So it's been a very long time that I've known him. Uh, okay, and the second question is the poem you just read. What is that poem about?
The one I read now?
Yes.
It is about the ending. Like now we are in the December month and we are going to end one calendar year. But after December, we sigh, sad, momentary, but we look on to January, February, again spring comes. But with that also comes the thoughts of life ending. But that is, death is to me like another beginning to a silent world, another beginning for the loved ones who are here to feel the absence. So I have these thoughts at the year end connect together with endings.
Hmm.
I hope that
Okay.
answers your question.
No, it does. It does actually. And so I taught in South Korea and Taiwan for a very long time. And even though it didn't come up often, sometimes they did, the students did have to write a poem, have to write poetry. So I'm wondering, what tip would you give on how to write poetry?
For me, I do free verses. There are different forms of poems in poetry, like narrative and haiku and many other the poems that rhyme. But I love the freedom of expressing in free verses. So for me, it would be if anyone wants to write poem, it should be or might be better or more beautiful when it expressed freely as the person or the writer feels it, feels the moods, feels the surroundings, feel that the thoughts and expressions are expressed. And the best thing about poetry is with the modern poetry, there are no hard, fast rules. Even when you write, there is no hard rules about beginning with a capital letter or ending with a full stop or anything. I mean, this is more of a feeling expression, taking everybody in.
Okay, and then like I said, I taught, and usually when the poetry came up for the kids to read, they were grown because poetry is actually quite difficult for them to understand. So I'm wondering, what tip would you give on how to read? Reading means to understand a poem. What tip would you give on how to read means to understand a poem?
Thank you for that. Thank you for all the questions. So, read a poem, I would, for me, as it for me, if I want to read a poem, usually I do not get the whole poem at the first reading. I read once, twice, three times to understand a poem and understand what the poet is trying to say. And then sit back and reflect that did I really sink into the poet's words, the poet's moods and writing. And on that note, I also believe reading of any kind cannot be forced. We cannot, if a person likes poetry, that person will enjoy poetry. We are all different with our readings and expressions. So I would say, like, it is what it is for the poet to read or to write.
I agree, actually. I agree that the students should take their own interpretation from the words that they read,
Yes.
not try to think too much upon it, try to think that they're getting it wrong, actually, which is really a big deal with them. And so finally, can you name this should be, I know this is a very general question, you probably have many in your mind, but can you name a poem or poet that you feel was exemplary and then why?
So, as from Massachusetts, I really am influenced by Emily Dickinson. She is from Massachusetts, and our house was just 10 minutes walk from her museum. And all her poetry on nature is what catches me. As I mentioned before, like nature is to me poetry. Poetry is not perfect, nature isn't perfect, and I find lots of Emily Dickinson's poems really breathtaking in terms of connecting human and the nature together.
All right, and thank you so much, actually. And so before we go, do you want to give a shout out mean to anyone, any organization, anything that you have coming out? Do you want to give a shout out?
Um, Actually, I am right now working on a memoir kind of thing, and I have submitted some manuscripts to different places, and I'm just waiting for that. But for now, I'm working on a memoir and also another new poetry connection.
Okay, well, good
Thank
luck
you.
on both of them, and thank you so much for joining
Thank
me.
you.
And so I'm gonna stop recording now. I'll stop recording.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the